Oh, my word.
I'm cat crazy, and I'm not the only one. Over 13 million people across the UK, including yours truly, share their homes and their hearts with a furry ball of feline mischief. But with their famously dangerous sense of curiosity and their incredible ability to get into dark spaces and high places, cats often end up in need of our help. In this series, we'll meet cats close to catastrophe. The animal rescuers who dedicate their lives to saving these amazing animals.
Oh, we got her!
And members of the public that are there to help them.
The place doesn't seem right without a cat. I think she's adorable.
I have Brody here for you.
Hey, Brody.
I'll experience firsthand what life is like treating ill and injured moggies.
But I hear that you have been in the wars.
At one of the country's busiest animal hospitals.
No pressure. Quite a lot of pressure.
I don't want to be a vet anymore.
We'll meet cats that push the boundaries and challenge what we think is possible of our furry friends.
Tula's changed our lives in so many ways.
And I'll bring you the science behind what makes your beloved kitty one of the most impressive creatures on the planet.
I'll be bringing you daring rescues, meeting the people that will go the extra mile for our moggies, and I'll be rolling my sleeves up to see what I can do to help. Let's just hope I don't end up taking my work home with me.
As soon as I opened the front door, she tried running in.
Coming up, Inspector Anthony Joynes investigates a heavily pregnant cat that's taken up residence in a stranger's garden.
Special to space. Don't use yours, because your cat will hate you. Fish. Fish to space.
Fish.
Yes.
I take a lesson in oral hygiene of the cat variety.
It's not that bad. It's got any chips?
So you can keep it for tonight if you want.
And we get the science behind why cats' tongues are so rough.
So they'll use their tongues to actually rip meat from bones when they're eating their prey.
To rescue a cat in need, sometimes you have to have the reactions of, well, a cat. And even if you do manage to trap the troublesome kitty, there can be a sting in the tail.
In Merseyside, Animal Welfare Officer Matt Brown is responding to his first call of the morning.
We're on our way to Liverpool to get a cat which apparently is in a bit of a rough state. I think it's been ran over by the sounds of it. It's covered in blood. We don't know where it's bleeding from, so we may have to do some further investigation to see what's actually happened to it.
The injured cat, a young male, has been found at a child's play centre.
Hi, it's RSPCA.
But the young cat is hiding in the dark between a wall and a shed, and it's going to be a challenge for Matt to assess the condition he's in.
I don't know. The initial report saying blood everywhere. I thought, God, there's going to be a bit of a tragic story, but looking at it, as face value, it looks okay.
He looks a bit fed up to me.
There could be injuries to the legs, torso. I'm hoping that it's not horrendous. Right, I'll go and get my gear.
When a cat's sick or injured, their instinct tells them they're more vulnerable to predators and that to survive, they need to hide. So this potentially poorly pussy has found the perfect place.
The plan is I'm going to get my long pole, push the cat along with my net and have it at this end, and it's going to try and coax it into the net.
Not knowing the full extent of its injuries, Matt needs to go carefully. But he is literally trying to herd a cat. What could possibly go wrong?
Go on.
Well, that for starters.
Oh, you little sod.
And the fleeing feline doesn't waste any time finding another hard-to-reach cranny to test Matt's cat-capturing skills.
Where did it go? See, it never goes to plan, does it? Oh, it's just here.
Matt needs to come up with another strategy if he wants to get to the bottom of what, if anything, has happened to the young chap.
I'm going to try and coax it Hopefully it's going to go towards the crushed cage, so I'm going to go this way, probably bang my head several times on the way, and then hopefully it'll go in there.
And miraculously, it works.
Right, go that way. Go on, cat. Go on, cat.
Well, kind of.
I know, sweetheart, I'm going to help you now. Ah, go on, sweetheart. It's only a little kitten, really, this. It's a bit scraggly and a bit thin, aren't you? Hey? Oh, you friendly? You friendly?
Matt's been told the little kitty is covered in blood and he's worried it may have been hit by a car, so it's essential he makes a quick assessment of any potential serious injuries.
Hey, maybe you hit yourself. Oh, hello, sweetheart. Generally, rule of thumb is when the cat's been ran over, if it's been hit, they'll automatically put the claws back on the tarmac and it'll scrape along. But these are still nice. Maybe you had a little bit of a bash, haven't you? But you don't seem any... Ah, oh dear, there we go. That's where the blood's come from. It's lost a tail.
It's a nasty wound. The poor little boy. No wonder he just wanted to hide.
That's where the blood's come from. It's had a whack at the end and it's lost the tail somehow. I'm glad we've got it. I'll see if it's owned, just in case anybody's lost a cat. And then here we go, sweetheart. There's two outcomes. Obviously, if there's a chip number, we'll try and chase the owner. Failing that, we'll treat the animal and put it up for rehoming.
Back at the van, Matt scans the youngster to see if it can be returned to its home.
Nope, no chip. Sorry, mate. Gotta call you Tails, because you lost one of your 9 lives, haven't you?
Matt may be putting a brave front on for poor Tails, but he knows he needs to get this kitten's injuries checked out fast. A wound like that on a cat can be life-threatening. Animal Welfare Officer Matt is waiting for a vet to check out a kitty that has lost its tail. Maybe slightly cruelly now nicknamed Tails, the young lad was rescued from a child's play centre where he was found hiding.
I'm just going to weigh it. Here we go. 3.2, bang on. He would have been 3.4 if she had a tail. Oh. Trying to flick that tail to tell us how you're feeling, but you can't because you haven't got one, have you? Look, whoop.
A cat has around 20 bones in its tail. As well as using it to communicate, the tail also helps with balance. But a cat can learn to live without it. However, such a nasty injury could create other more serious complications. Vet Vanessa Whitfield needs to take a look at the nasty cut.
The skin is completely gone, but there's granulation tissues formed over the bones of his tail, so that suggests it's been done at least 2 days, possibly longer. He's going to have an operation to try and remove a small amount of his tail and then try and close the skin across that.
Hopefully, Tails has been saved in the nick of time. If the wound had gone unchecked, it could have become infected and created even more problems for the poorly cat. But Vanessa has another concern too.
He's got quite a lot of poop in his colon. It's checking his bladder. This is important because if the tail's been pulled, sometimes they lose control of the bowels and the bladder. His bladder is small, so that is a good sign, OK?
As well as having lots of bones, a cat's tail is full of nerves. If these get damaged, the cat can't feel or use the muscles it needs to go to the loo and can become incontinent. If Tails can't go to the toilet, the prognosis won't be good.
He's certainly got some quite significant injuries at the moment.
A missing tail might be the least of his worries. Only an X-ray will reveal the full extent of the damage this serious injury could have caused.
So if we have to check the full cat, we usually call it a catogram. X-rays. Right, so this is the entire cat.
And it's immediately obvious to vet Chris Zurovich that Tails does have a problem with his bowels.
This is just feces, stomach here, and then those are feces. So the cat is constipated. So that could potentially mean that there's already damage and possibly it's not going to be able to urinate, defecate on its own. If there's no function, there's nothing else can be done. It's not fair to keep him like this or rehome him, knowing that he's got no power over his bowel.
If his bowels have stopped working, it could be the end of the line for Tails. We'll be back with him to get the full X-ray results shortly. Each year, the Harmsworth Animal Hospital in North London treats more than 4,000 cats. Today, Maisie, a 9-year-old domestic semi-long-haired who hasn't been herself of late, is in to find out what's up. And I'm meeting her owner, Anne, to find out more.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Now, you haven't got your cat here at the moment because I think she's just gone into a room.
Yep.
And how come she's here?
For the past year, she's had the same problem 3 times. It's all to do with the bladder, the urinary tract, and it's like passing blood and then keep going into the tray.
Are you worried about her?
A little bit, yeah, but then you've got to face up to it. I mean, there's something going on.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to pop in there,
OK.
see how it's all going.
Righty-ho.
So wish you luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Imogen.
Hello.
Because Maisie has been having trouble peeing for nearly a year, vet Imogen is worried and has decided to scan her bladder with an ultrasound and take a urine sample to see if she can get to the bottom of what's going on.
To have a good look through the skin to see the bladder,
Yes.
we need to clip her hair because she is a
There's someone
hairy
that can
cat.
do that?
Would you mind helping us? So the area we're going to be clipping is just this sort of lower part of the belly,
Right.
OK?
Maisie has been sedated, but I'm still going to have to be cautious with how I go.
Just be
mate.
careful, because they do have nipples.
Oh, see now, Imogen, you've really put me off there. I don't
But
want to
your
clip off
gentle
a-
touch will be perfect.
No, well, that is the opposite of the truth, Imogen. I
I'll
think
start, and then I'm
OK.
sure if I find one, you'll be flying. Lovely. You're really
OK.
gentle, you'll be absolutely fine.
OK.
Just here, that's
Good.
perfect.
Right.
And then we just need to make it slightly wider. Just
Right,
so that I can
see
work
there?
down.
Is that a little...
That's- yeah, indeed.
Over this side, yeah.
Yeah, just make it
And look, there's
slightly
one there.
wider.
You've just... You're ambushing me with nipples, Imogen. And I'm really hoping I'm not going to...
Should get a new rock look. Little pierced nipple.
Can we do that while she's here?
I've nothing against body piercings, just not on a cat and not by me.
I can see one underneath there, and can you do that? Sorry.
Fine. That's pretty good, though.
I'll tell you what, I'll be wearing my vet's cap quite soon.
With Maisie a lot less fuzzy, but thankfully still with all her nipples intact, it's time to try and get to the root of this poorly pussy's problems.
To improve our contact, just like when pregnant ladies get their belly scanned, they have this gel that goes on. So fingers crossed we have got a bladder that's full of some urine, because otherwise it's very hard to see anything inside the bladder.
Really?
What we're going to do, I'm going to pop this on, but to have the most optimal image, we want to make the room a lot darker. So if you
Okay, shall I?
could just flick off the light switch for me. Good girl. So fluid shows up dark on an ultrasound. So far, looking at the bladder, initially I can see that it's a normal sort of shape and size. OK, fab, so she can pee, that's all nice. Now I'm looking inside it to see if there's any stones. Sometimes when you get really microscopic crystals, you can bounce on the bladder and you can see them sort of like a crystal ball or like your snowflake ball sort of float around in the urine. At this stage, I don't think we've got stones, which is good. Do you want to have a feel what it feels like?
Yeah.
So if you just hang on the probe there, and then just you can pop a little bit of pressure, and then you can see how the tiniest movement will make a big difference to your image.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I think I'm going to try and get a sample now. So if I can ask you to hold her leg for me. OK, you can see the movement there?
Yeah.
That's hopefully my needle. Yeah, lovely. So then you just examine that as well grossly. And you can see it's a normal colour and consistency, but it is a little bit cloudy, which could be an indication that we may have an infection. So we're going to get that analysed.
How long will it take for the test results to come back?
We'll know within a couple of days if there is any unusual cells or any obvious bacteria on the microscope slide, but just not what it is until much later on.
We'll catch up with Maisie shortly to see if a cause for her bladder problems has been found.
RSPCA officers have pretty much seen it all when it comes to our feline friends, from cats up trees to moggies down drains. Not much surprises them. But sometimes things are not all that they seem.
Back in Cheshire, Inspector Anthony Joins is responding to a call from a member of the public about a cat she thinks is heavily pregnant and appears to have taken up residence in her garden.
It could be quite dangerous if she is heavily pregnant, because then she's going to need to find somewhere safe to have her kittens.
Anthony needs to check that the mum cat isn't putting herself and her expected kittens at risk.
Hello. Is she heavily pregnant, do you think?
I think she's quite fat and
Is she?
her stomach.
I'll stop her running out.
Here she is.
Oh.
Come here, love. Oh, she does look very heavily pregnant to me.
Let's have a little look at her.
Yeah, she's very friendly.
Yeah, just grab her.
Yeah, of course.
Has she just been hanging around then? Is that what
well, when I went out this morning, because as soon as I opened my front door, she tried running in. And next door had said she'd been trying to get in theirs the day before.
All right.
They've got a dog, and obviously I've got a cat. She seemed quite hungry. She's had like 3 lots of sachets of food.
As a cat's pregnancy progresses, it's natural for them to eat more, sometimes considerably more.
She just wouldn't move from the bushes, and she's kind of made like a little nest in there for a few days.
Okay.
Check the bushes, there's no kittens in there.
What I'll do is, I'll lock her back in. I'll go and get a basket.
Melissa's done the right thing. If you find a cat that you suspect is pregnant in your garden, then give it shelter. This can be as simple as turning a waterproof box on its side for her to sit in.
She's got quite low teats when she's on all fours. They are drooping very low.
The pretty kitty's behaviour does make sense, but there could be another explanation.
She's a big girl, and she can't. She doesn't look obviously like she's lactating. Like, to be honest, she could just be. She could be pregnant now, or fat.
Who are you calling fat?
Here we go, girl. What I'll do is I'll take her to the vet. I don't want to have them kittens in bushes and stuff.
Anthony may be playing it on the safe side, but he's starting to smell a rat. A big rat.
She's trying to get into people's houses with people who've got dogs, which is not really normal cat behaviour. Thanks very much.
Cats are great scavengers as well as hunters, and it could be that this one may be using her winning wiles to score free meals around the neighbourhood.
She does look big, so is she pregnant or is she just overweight? I think we go and get that checked out and see what we're going to do from there.
To find out if the cat is porky or pregnant, Anthony takes her to the Wirral Animal Centre to be checked out by vet Becky Taylor McAlpine.
Hello.
Hi.
We suspect that she's heavily pregnant or massively overweight. She's really sweet.
The first thing Becky needs to do is find out if the cat is chipped so she can be returned to her owner.
Yep,
Chipped?
she has a chip.
Wonderful.
Hopefully we can reunite her. It is a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good start, isn't it?
That's one bit of good news. Time to find out if there's going to be more.
I'm just checking to see if there's any sort of mammary development. She might just be very fat. If everyone's been feeding her on the street, it's quite hard to tell. She was very tense, but I think it's just because she's stressed and I can't feel any obvious big kittens there, but you can never be positive. But I'd say it's quite possible that she might just be a bit on the chubby side, actually, because she's got a good sort of fat covering over her spine and everything. Haven't you, my love? Lovely little thing, though.
It looks like Anthony's got a tubby tabby on his hands. Maybe her owners will be able to shed more light on how she got so big. Hopefully, the curvy kitty's chip will be up to date.
Looking for a name, really. Yes, she's called Holly. Holly. You know your name, don't you? Hey. And I think she's about 11 years old. And she's actually doesn't live very far away, a couple of roads away. It says on here she's spayed as well, so it sounds like real really responsible owners. She's chipped, she's neutered. I'll give them a ring. She might have been missing for a few days. I know. Oh, hi there. It's Anthony Joines, the RSPCA inspector on the Wirral. Don't be alarmed. I've got some information about Holly. If you could give me a bell back. Thanks again. Hopefully they'll get in touch and we can take her back home, which is the ideal situation. And my gut feeling is she's got herself in a bit of bother and got lost, even if it's just for a couple of days.
While Anthony waits to make contact with her owner, Holly will be kept at the cattery, and she can't wait to take advantage of Anthony's hospitality.
Porker. Even though most cats that are stressed don't want to eat, she's straight into the food. It's probably where the bellies come from, I imagine. People are thinking she's pregnant.
Thankfully, it's not long before Holly's owner, Mia, gets in touch.
Hello? It is? Is she missing, or...?
She didn't come home last night.
Oh, so she's been missing, has she? Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, don't worry. A member of the public has found her, and she's been basically trying to get into people's houses. I think the member of the public was concerned that she was trying to, like, nest as if she was a pregnant cat, because she's big, isn't she?
Yeah, she's 300 grams overweight. She is on a special diet.
Oh.
I must tell you.
No, no problem. Well, I'll tell you what. When are you going to be home?
I'll be home at 3:30.
I'll meet you there then.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Anthony.
No problem.
Okay.
See you in a bit. Bye. Bye.
It just goes to show microchipping does work. Now Holly can be reunited with her anxious owner. Coming up.
Sad times, this.
Things go from bad to worse for Tails.
We're very suspicious of some kind of spinal problem around here, I'm afraid.
And I get a lesson in cat dentistry.
It's all right, Brute. I'm only going to do it really quickly. Clean that one. Oh, yeah, done it.
As I said.
It's clean now.
Earlier, Welfare Officer Matt rescued a young cat who had lost part of his tail. There were concerns it could lead to serious problems.
The tail's been pulled. Sometimes they lose control of the bowels.
Under X-ray, vet Chris has already confirmed Tails does have a problem with his bowels.
This is just feces, stomach here, so the cat is constipated.
And things go from bad to worse when Chris spots a potential problem with Tails' spine.
Yeah. There are signs of trauma. This doesn't look great. Very suspicious of some kind of spinal problem around here, I'm afraid. All of those should look pretty much the same because they have big processes here. This one, it doesn't particularly look well.
Nobody knows what happened to Tails, but whatever it was, it looks like it has caused serious damage. Chris thinks the poor cat has fractured his spine.
So this cat will never be able to walk normally again, so the function of hind legs is totally gone.
It's an injury that's irreparable. Not only would Tails be in danger of paralysis, he would be in constant pain too.
Sad times, this.
It's not a good prognosis, but Chris is determined to keep Tails alive.
It could be that the X-ray is not, under a wrong angle or something. I think we're better off repeating this one in a different view. Okay, right, let's do another X-ray before the cat wakes up.
Tails' 9 lives are running out fast. Chris takes one final shot.
Right, lights off. X-rays. Thank you. I don't like this moment, when you're waiting for results. You're not sure what's going to happen. Just need to assess if all the vertebrae are okay. It's really hard to see a spinal fracture, to be fair. If the stomach is very distended, then it might just be that a bit of food. This is not very clear I can't see anything on those, so I think we're okay to just take the cat back and try and do the surgery.
It's a last-minute reprieve for Tails, and Chris can now proceed with the operation to stitch up the wound to stop him contracting any kind of infection.
So it looks like it's been quite a clean amputation of the tail. So we're just going to remove one vertebra.
If you're in any way squeamish, I'd look away now.
I'll make my incision now. That is the beginning of the vertebra we're removing now. Spinal cord is going to be inside here. The complications afterwards, like I said, it could lead to fecal and urinary incontinence if you do a high amputation. We're going to remove the vertebra now, so we're going to cut it off. So we've got a bit of bleeding here. So now we have to put the flap over this vertebra and just close this skin here. It's probably going to be our last stitch here. There we go. We are officially done. Oh, looking good. I'm happy with that.
But Tails isn't out of the woods yet, as he may never recover from the nerve damage his injuries caused.
If he defecates, urinates, we can rehome him. If not, over the next 48 hours, let's say, it's probably we'll have to let him go.
We're all rooting for you, Tails. We'll catch up with him again soon. Back in Cheshire, Inspector Anthony has been contacted by the owner of Holly, the massive moggy that everyone thought was expecting kittens. It turns out the curvy kitty isn't pregnant after all and is already on a strict diet.
It's okay.
So, it seems that this fat cat decided to go on the run to get her paws on some proper feline fodder. All Anthony needs to do now is take her back to her family.
I think she might still potentially be on her way home. It's quite warm today, so while I'm waiting for it to turn up, I'm just going to go and open the back doors of my van, because obviously I don't want to cause any heat stress to Holly, so...
Wait for your mummy to come back.
Yes, we will. Ooh. Couple more minutes, and you're back to your diet after your crazy junk food adventure. Getting fed from all the neighbours around the corner. Oh, I know, it's sad, isn't it? Sad that it's over. We thought you were pregnant with little kittens, but you're not, you're just fat.
And it's not long before Holly's owner, Mia, arrives home. And she couldn't be more pleased that the wanderer has returned.
Oh, I'm sorry about the voicemail. She's fine, just very chunky. We thought she was pregnant. Does she usually go far or not?
She likes outside, but she's always come home, or she's first thing in the morning. She's by the door ready for her breakfast, so...
Yeah, it was about 3 roads away she was, so I think she might have got a bit disorientated and then was trying to break into people's houses for food, I think. She obviously likes her food.
Please go through that.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. She's meowed the whole time, quite stressed, bless her. So...
No food.
Crikey, this fat cat really has got a one-track mind.
Thank you so much.
No, it's no problem, honestly. What it shows is the beauty of microchipping and having the details update, because I've managed to get hold of you today. You rung me back shortly after, and then within an hour and a half, she's back home. And that doesn't happen all the time.
Thank you very, very much.
Oh, it's no problem.
No, my little girl, you'll be our hero. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
no problem, honestly. Thank you.
Ah, you're my hero too, Anthony.
Yeah, that was lovely, that. I made up with that. What a result. Lovely house. Cat's absolutely dosed upon. I could tell because of the way she just wasn't clearly used to being outside and away from the property. I imagine she probably just potters around here. I think she's just gone in and thought, you know, I'm gonna try and eat what I can while I'm out and about and bless her, you know, it's been lovely to reunite her with her mum, basically, which is lovely.
So why do pet cats like Holly overeat? Apparently it's all to do with taste and their tongues, and surprisingly, it's not a love of sweet treats that can make them fat. Here's our resident science buff, Lauren, to tell you more.
Cats, they are a carnivore. They're only ever eating meat. They have a lack of taste receptors which actually taste sweet things. Many cats may be attracted to fatty things which also have sugar in, like ice cream. But what they're tasting there is the fat rather than the actual sugar content. What we also know about the taste receptors of cats is that they can taste water. And this is perhaps one of the interesting reasons why cats can be quite fussy. You may have noticed that your cat really likes to drink from the tap. Perhaps this relates to the water being fresh and therefore cleaner for the cat. So what cats will do when they're drinking is curl their tongue backwards and use the surface adhesion of the water to draw the water back up into the mouth, quickly snapping the jaws around the water to catch it and retain it. Cats' tongues, like Norman's here, are really amazing. So everybody knows what it feels like to be licked by a cat. They have quite raspy tongues, so it's quite a rough, sort of sandpaper-like experience. The tongue contains what we call filiform papillae, and these are made of keratin and actually quite upright with little barbs on the end that are facing backwards. So they'll use their tongues to actually rip meat from bones when they're eating their prey. This is something which is not unique to domestic cats. Big cats will use their papillae in their tongue in the same way. And you can imagine that the size of the tongue and the papillae would actually be a lot greater than on our small domestic cats.
Well, there you go. When it comes to eating and drinking, it looks like cats have got it licked. Just remember not to overfeed them. I'm back at Harmsworth to meet another sorry moggy who's also had a problem with food. Poor old Bruce's diet was so bad he needed to have all but 4 of his teeth removed. Today, I'm paying him and vet Sam Favy a visit to see how we can look after those last remaining gnashers.
Hello there, you're right.
Nice to meet you.
He's been in the wars, hasn't he?
4 teeth
4
left.
teeth left.
Yes, that's it. Only his canine, so that's the most important.
What do we need to do for Bruce? 'Cause
So Bruce had a severe gingivitis. All his teeth, actually, or most of his teeth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that was quite severe. It does happen in cats. So to prevent it, we try to brush their teeth.
To brush a cat's teeth?
Yes. Yes, like us, actually. That would be great, actually, to do it every day.
It's quite a job, isn't it?
It's a job, but that should be part of a routine thing with the cats. So they need to be, of course, used to it, because I hope like nobody would just start going, put your finger in your cat's mouth straight away like this, because you may be bitten. So
well, that's the thing. See, I wouldn't even know how to make a cat open its mouth.
The good thing about brushing your cat's teeth is you don't need to open his mouth.
That's a good trick.
so don't worry. That's why actually you have to take it slowly.
Right.
So what I would try first with any cat is actually to come from behind the cat, never come from the front.
Yeah.
You come from behind on a table like actually Bruce is right now, and see if you can actually hold the head of your cat this way. If you've got a kitten, then you can start to get him used to it. And then you will be able to do it all his life.
Yeah.
And that's the best, actually. Because what you need is special toothpaste. Don't use yours, because your cat will hate you. They don't like mint or anything like that.
So is that a flavour that cats like?
Fish toothpaste.
Fish?
Yes.
Can I try it?
You can try it. It's a new one. It's never been used.
Is it safe for humans? Oh, I fancy a bit of fish toothpaste. It's not that bad. Got any chips?
So you can keep it for tonight if you want.
Yeah, maybe not. No, it's not as bad as I was expecting, actually. I'm just going to go in with your finger, are you?
So that's the thing. To start with, you don't have to open the mouth. The only thing you want to do is actually to just get the lip up.
Oh, OK.
And that's it. And you just go on the side.
Right.
Actually, the tartar in cats builds up on the side. So you don't have to go in the mouth. You just actually massage the teeth. That's the easiest way. That's what you can do with most cats. The best way is with a brush.
Right, OK.
With
but
or
not
without.
using toothpaste?
Yeah, with or
OK.
without. Because what is really effective is actually the brushing effect. That's a cat toothbrush,
Right.
but you can use actually a baby one. That's the
Okay.
same. It just needs to be really small.
Right.
That's it, because the cat's mouth is quite
OK.
small.
I'll just have a very little go.
It'd be rude not to.
It's all right, Bruce. I'm only going to do it really quickly.
But Bruce doesn't look convinced.
And I'm just going to clean that one. Oh, yeah, done
That's
it.
it.
That made him jump, didn't it?
Because he's never had his teeth done before. So that's exactly what you are expecting from a cat who's never had it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if it comes into a daily routine, then they are used to it,
Okay.
and actually that's really great. For him it would be good because it will avoid to get his 4 canine actually getting worse again and to have them extracted maybe in a year or two.
That's great, that toothbrush. I might get some of these because then I can use that end and clean the cat's teeth with that end.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's good. Good idea.
Might even pocket this one.
Didn't think of that.
Still to come, we catch up with Tails and find out what happened next.
Amazing. Right, start driving.
And we head across the pond to see another incredible rescue from the internet.
We've noticed there's been blood intermittently in the urine.
Earlier, I met rare moggy Maisie, who had a mysterious problem with her bladder. Vet Imogen took a urine sample and, with the help of yours truly, gave her an ultrasound.
So if you just hang on the probe there.
The test results came back clear. So the vet suggested to her owner, Anne, that some changes were made to Maisie's diet. And the good news is, it's worked a treat.
Maisie's back to her antics, exploring, climbing higher, back to her normal self. Maisie's not going backwards and forwards to the litter tray anymore like she was. So that's definitely an indicator that all is well. I've tried to change, her diet very slightly. I think she's improved immensely, as advised by the vet. So if you add a little bit of water, it doesn't have to be too much. The water is important to, wash the bladder. It's like the more liquid, the bladder kind of gets washed out, germs, and it's better for the bladder. Dry food, it might absorb it. I mean, she never leaves any, so it's obviously working. She likes it for her taste buds. As you can see, she means a lot to me. If Maisie's happy, I'm happy.
I do love a happy ending when it comes to my feline friends, but how did Tails get on? The poor young cat whose life was hanging in the balance.
Well, the only thing left now is just wait and see if he goes to the toilet on his own. If not, over the next 48 hours, let's say, it's probably we'll have to let him go.
It was touch and go whether he'd survive. But 10 weeks on, and I'm pleased to tell you that Tails, now called Rudy, is fighting fit and has found a new home with the Brown family from the Wirral.
I always said that when we did come to adopt a cat, I would adopt one that maybe wasn't at the front of the queue. I think that just made him more endearing, the fact that he didn't have a tail. He just settled in straight away. He's just full of adventure, and he's got no inhibitions. He wants to play continually.
As well as mum Rebecca, he's inherited a couple of sisters, Esme and Honor, who like to keep him entertained too.
Everything about him is just hilarious. He doesn't do anything by halves. This is his favourite, isn't it? Yeah. This one. Kind of. He loves attention.
But it hasn't all been plain sailing.
When we first picked him up, he, came back here, and for the first couple of weeks, he didn't really have very much strength. You'd pick him up and he'd be quite limp, wouldn't he? Every time I see him, he's getting stronger. building up a lot more. It's just progressing all the time, really.
With no spine injury or sign of nerve damage, Rudy isn't letting a little thing like losing a tail hold him back in any department. He's met a young lady called Birdie. Dinner for two. Ooh, how sophisticated. Followed by a bit of rough and tumble in the garden.
He's just a happy cat. And we love him to bits. He's fantastic. He's shown such resilience and, you know, he's been in the wars, he's pulled through, he's a right little character and he deserves a nice home. I'm really happy we adopted Rudy.
I think Rudy's quite happy about it too.
And to end the show, here's a YouTube clip of an amazing rescue from across the world.
There's a cat there.
Is there?
And there are kittens there.
In California, USA, a feline family have been discovered living in the middle of a drain pipe. It's no place for a young mum raising a family, as the pipe could flood at any moment. They need help fast.
This is a nightmare.
Let's go to the other end.
But before the team can hatch a plan to get the cats out, they need to know what they're dealing with. So they do what any self-respecting rescuer would do and attach a camera to a remote-controlled car. And it works.
No, there she is. They can see the mama now.
Unsurprisingly, Mum Cat's not too happy at having a car driven at her family.
Pull it out with the rope.
Next, using a 60-foot pole, they attempt to push Mum out.
Okay, we got the mom.
One down.
Let's go and get closer to the hole.
But getting the kittens out is going to be trickier.
I think there are at least 3 there. 3.
All right, let's start pushing slowly.
Using a giant handmade piston.
All right.
Okay.
Wait, slow.
The tiny kittens are slowly edged along the pipe.
Wait, no, pull out and then push back in. Tiny bit more. Pull, car. They're so covered with leaves. Push. All right, get ready. Blankets. Okay, wait. There we go. Okay, Joanne, grab one. Lisa, grab one. Loretta. There it is. I think we got, okay?
The 4 tiny kittens were reunited with their mum and are now living happily ever after in their new homes. Mum is now called Nutella, and the kittens, Toffee, Snickers, Bonbon and Nougat. What a sweet end to the story.